It's me, Wanda B, and you are tuned in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. It's Sunday. It's fun day. My favorite day of the week. I am here in the studios of Intellectual Radio, and I'm excited to bring to you a new guest. You're like, okay, that's someone I haven't seen before. Well, I have with me today Karen Abbott Trimuel, and she is a poet, a playwright, an author. You had so many commas. Give me the rest of them. What are the
producer, director,
director, and one of the fun things. Come up close to the microphone for me. One of the fun things about her is I got to read her book, and one of the books. And so she has two books here. You'll see them here. And Ladies' Night Unmasked is one thing I wanted to talk about, because when I first saw the title, I'm like, Ladies' Nights? Like, we saw the movie Girls Trip, and there's Ladies' Nights. And I want to talk about, like, what are the effects on those on relationships? Have them? Shouldn't they have them? Are boys' trips necessary? Those getaways to get away from the family? And that was one of the first things that I picked up in the book, is how many of them were trying to get away from, they needed the break from family, from husbands, from boyfriends, for all varieties of reasons. And I thought, well, maybe that does make it necessary. So that's one of the things I love to talk about today. You guys can chime in. Do you think they hurt relationships? Because some people say, I've heard on social media, I have a group, He Said, She Said on Facebook. Please join the group. And one of the things that often comes up in the group is how people actually sometimes use these trips for extramarital affairs. Now, I know y'all not doing that. Not the people who watch He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. They don't do that. So, but some people say that happens. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And what is happening in Vegas? Like, that it has to stay there. So that's like one of the things we're going to talk about today. But I want to say welcome, Karen.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again.
Yes, again, because you had to play Ladies' Night. Now, it was two plays, Unmasked 1 and Unmasked 2.
Yes, there was. We did one, and the people didn't want me to leave the cliffhanger. So I got some people attendees that sent me emails and said, please don't leave it there. Please give us more. So I did. I wrote the second part in 3 hours.
And honestly, after you told me where one ended, I would have felt the same way, because that was too much of a cliffhanger right there to leave it like that. You would want to know what happened next, because as a super producer said today, I couldn't put the book down because I was like, you know how you read a portion? I said, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to finish this later. I got stuff to do. I have to go do the dishes. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit more. What did she do? What did Lola do? Oh, okay. Wait. Let me put this down. I'm like, oh, Claudia did what? Okay. So I'm going to put this down. Put the Miranda for real. So, I mean, it was like, I was like.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat, right?
It keeps you on the edge of your seat with each character. So the book follows, and we're going to talk about the topic, but the book follows these four ladies. So it's Miranda, Lola, Claudia, and
Gertie.
And
Shauna is actually 5 ladies.
5 ladies.
5 ladies.
I said 4 or 5 ladies, and they're all in there equally. So why did I forget one of them? Because they're all fun too in their own way. Right. They're fun, intriguing, and I think you could find yourself in all of them. I think a lot of times when you read books like that, you go, am I a Gertie? Or am I
a Shauna?
Or am I a Shauna? I know I'm not a Shauna. Not
Are you
fully.
a Lola?
I'm a little bit of Shauna. Lola, you all have to pick up this book. I'm going to be putting in the comments how you can get the book, but also I think you're going to be doing a giveaway of the book.
Yes, I am. I am going to give away a book. Actually, 2 books.
2 books.
I'm going to give away Ladies' Night Unmasked, and I'm also going to give away Check Your Assets and Know Your Value, a woman's guide to becoming her authentic self.
Check your assets and know your value.
That's right.
Okay, so one is fiction and one is nonfiction.
Exactly.
Now, where does that come from? Usually you rarely see, if ever, someone go from genres like that, from fiction to nonfiction. Right. I don't think I've ever heard of that. So where did that inspire you? How did that happen?
Because I'm a writer, right? So I write a little bit of everything. So I write poetry, I write plays. So I do motivational speaking. So check your assets is actually to motivate and inspire women to becoming their authentic selves and being unapologetic about it. So the one was a play. So Ladies Night Unmasked was an adaptation of a play that I wrote, right?
So what order did they come?
Ladies Night Unmasked came first.
Okay.
And the reason I turned that into a book is because we were all at home, right? And there was so much going on around us that I wanted to entertain people while they were home and give them something to think about, right?
And what was so nice is she sent me the book. It gave me something to entertain myself. Thank you for looking out for me. But now I kind of see where the check your assets, where that came as well, because that kind of ties into what the book, a theme, underlying theme kind of the book.
Yes.
So I can see where I can see the tie-in now. As you say that, I go, well, yeah, that's kind of natural.
Right. You want to read Ladies Night Unmasked, and then you want to follow up with Check Your Assets, right? Because each lady had a checkpoint.
Ooh. So do you guys have checkpoints? Do you check in with your life? And I think that was kind of a running theme. And I don't even want to say what that is because I didn't see it coming. Like when it asked the question, why do I have a picture of me on my Facebook Live and not of us? That is very interesting. There we are. So you guys can chime in on the comments if you have any questions. If you've ever been on a girls trip, ladies night, if you and your friends plan one every year, I want to know where it is. Where do you go? Is it naughty or nice? If you can give that away. I want to hear if you had the naughty trip or the nice trip.
Right. And what do the men think about it?
What do the men think about it? Do you mind if your ladies go on a trip? Do you mind? Or ladies, do you mind if he goes on a trip? Now,
good question.
Yeah, I want to hear if you feel like it's not healthy to do separate vacations. I want to hear about it. So John says, and thank you for guys who are already chiming into this. I so appreciate you guys. If you're not married, you're single, so you can individually do whatever you want. Even if you're married and you choose to get away on your own for a bit, you should be able to do that. So I wonder, is that something you should talk about like before marriage? Like I always have this girls trip to Cancun, and is that all right with you?
I'm kind of feeling John. You know, everybody, a vacation is a break, right? And when you're comfortable in your relationship, now let's be real, some people aren't comfortable in their relationships. They don't trust their spouses to go on a trip with the guys or with the girls. So, you got to weigh in on what your relationship really is about, right?
And then you have different issues.
Right. But I went to Vegas with some girlfriends. I had a great time, and I'm comfortable in my marriage and I wouldn't do anything to disrespect it. But I think the break, right, was really good. And also your sisterhood, right? You still got to maintain that relationship with your friends, with your girlfriends. We get married, but we don't divorce our friends because we got married. But when you get married, you don't have as much time with your friends. So when you can have those breaks and those getaways, you can come together. It's kind of like still showing the love and that you care too and value your friendships.
I think I agree with you there that the balance, sometimes you need to keep a balance in life. The girlfriends, you can have those conversations that you can't have with the husbands. These kids are getting on my nerves, or as the one character who they all had different walks of life, but some overlapped, but at the same time, they all had things to vent about. And some days you just want to vent with the girls. That guys don't want to hear all that. Some may not. Some probably have ears for everything, but some may not want to hear what happened at the salon that you work at what you deal with all the time. So I think, and like you said, the bonding, to keep the strength of the relationship, because you may not have the time to spend in your daily life, that you create that time, that you make time to nurture those relationships. So I think they could be healthy. And like you mentioned, if your relationship has trust issues and things like that, it's probably bigger than this trip.
Exactly. I love it. Yes, it is. Much bigger.
This trip is just not, it's not the problem.
No, you're really trying to get away for other reasons.
Right.
So
I think they're necessary. I would like to hear if somebody thinks they shouldn't be done. If you think absolutely, if I'm going, you going with me, like we go together. We don't do the girls trips by ourselves.
Right.
Tangi says also your friends respect your marriage and your husband balance. When I got married initially, we went to premarital counseling, and that was one thing when they had a section about friends that he said they talked to us. We went to a couples. They were the marriage counselors were a couple. They were a married couple, and that you need friends that respect your relationship. Yes. And if they don't respect your relationship, maybe shouldn't be friends. Right. I mean, if they don't respect your relationship. So I think that's imperative, and that's something that needs to be talked about outside of the trip. It's not tied to the trip.
Exactly.
Having disrespectful friends.
Exactly.
They're not the trip problem. But if you see it differently, I'm open to hearing different opinions on this. So I love to hear, what do you think about the girls' trips and the boys' trips? Are they necessary? Where do you go when you go on one? Because my girlfriends and I, we used to, I guess, the wilder trips. There used to be the Cancuns and us on the beaches and then it kind of morphed into spa days and hanging out at the pool and going for some spa treatments and talking. So do those change over the years, what those days look like?
I think it does, because, you have, now you're in this relationship, you have a career, you have children. So for us, the other part about ladies' night is it's a good breakaway, because you're so busy taking care of everyone else, right? Making sure everything is done for everyone else. So sometimes we forget to take a break for ourselves, right? And then you have some women that are going through things like the 5 women in the book. And you think you're alone until you have that conversation. That's why I love the question that was posed in the book, because what that did was incite the answers, right? The dialogue.
What I liked was the buildup. I love how suspenseful you write the book, because nowhere did I think that was going to be the question. Right. Like the buildup to it, I'm like, I don't know why I was trying to guess. I'm like, what's the question that was it Claudia who put it together? Yes. What's the question that Claudia? What is it? And knowing Claudia, I'm like, can I say she's an attorney? She's an attorney.
Yes, she's an attorney. Yes.
So I don't want to give the book away. It's like I'm teetering on not giving spoilers, but I think that's written on the back.
Very successful. Yes.
Very successful attorney. And they switch days having it at their home months, or do they do it once a month?
Yes.
And so she wrote this question that was going to be, and everybody when they come are like, well, what is Claudia going? What is this going to be about? And it wasn't what I expected.
Exactly.
It was not.
But it's a question that every woman should ask herself. Don't you think?
It absolutely is. Yeah. It really is a question you should ask yourself, and more than once.
Yeah.
I think this is something that it was a question that you probably need to check in.
Yes.
With yourself.
Yes.
Every now and then. And because you can forget to ask yourself this. Life keeps moving, and you can stop making sure that you're on the right path. And
it's a question that makes you check yourself to see if I need to move in a different direction. I actually have that question on a desk in my office. So every day I'll look over at that question and I say, oh, how am I feeling today? And am I doing the things that make me happy? Am I doing the things that I want to do? Am I on point? Am I focused? If I'm not, then maybe I need to shift something. So it makes me check myself on a daily.
And I think men should do this probably just as much as women, because at the stressful life of a man, taking, being in charge of his family, providing, protecting, being out in a very vicious world that they don't feel protected in themselves.
Yes. You know what was interesting? At the end of the play, I had more men come up to me because their wives dragged them out to the play. And because of the name of the play, they thought, this is all about women. But after they watched the play, they was like, you know what? You helped me understand what women go through, right? You helped me understand their dialogue, but you also had us in there too, right? So even though it's Ladies' Night Unmasked, the men appreciated the play and was grateful that I put it on, and actually talked about their daughters.
Interesting.
They talked about their daughters. One guy said, one person, that's how my daughter is. She's like that. So it helped me to understand her struggle. So this is not just a book for women, even though it's Ladies' Night Unmasked, because we do have some male characters in there as well.
Yes, you
right?
do. Ooh.
Yes, we do. We have some male characters. So this is a book, I think, that will make anyone, whether they're male or female, kind of look at their own lives, right? and say, let me ask myself that question. And it's a checkpoint for all of us.
I agree that it absolutely could be for men as well. It's not because this question is for everyone.
Yes.
And I really think men need it just as much as women, because I think women, and maybe do we do more ladies things together than guys do men things together, or they don't talk the same? And I've never been. Guys, tell me what your trips are like.
Yeah, tell us about their trips. Tell us about your friendships, right?
Right, your friendships.
Do you have men's night out? That would be my next book, right?
Right.
Men's night out.
Men's night unmasked.
Yeah, men unmasked.
Men unmasked. Because they definitely unmasked to me. They're masked wonders every day, all you guys.
Right.
So Melissa says, can you give a small description of the main characters in Ladies' Night?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Let me do that. So Claudia, she's an attorney, and she is probably one of the top attorneys, very well-to-do, very wealthy. She's very well put together, right? And she's the person that likes to control it all, right? Make sure everything is in order. Then we have Miranda. Miranda is a housewife. She also adopted 2 children. So she has three children of her own. She adopted 2 children, and she was adopted herself. So her story is very, very intriguing, right? And very touching. She has a very touching, very touching story. She has a heart, right? She's been through a lot. And so she has a heart for people, and she doesn't like people to be in pain or hurt. Then we have Gertie. Gertie is a first lady. And she's hilarious. She keeps you laughing. When you think about the first lady, they are everything to everybody. We call them first ladies, but sometimes they're the last ladies, right? They're the last to be taken care of. Everybody else comes before them. But she likes to laugh. But you think about that. Most people laugh to hide behind the mask, right? They're just making jokes about everything. Then we have Shauna. Shauna's feisty, guys. She's feisty. She's a divorcee. She's wealthy, right? And she likes to date younger guys, right? She's been hurt. She vows to never get hurt again. And the next person is Lola. Lola is young, beautiful, and she's also feisty. She knows who she is. She's with the older guy. So, you want to say, most people want to call her a gold digger. She's not a gold digger. She's put together. She's very smart. And the way she maneuvers through this story and how it all unfolds, you love to hate her.
I was going to say that because as I was watching, I was like, oh, Lola. Okay, well, okay.
Or should I say you hate to love her? You hate to love her.
Yeah,
you hate to love her. Yeah. Yeah.
Hate is kind of strong. You dislike her to love her.
So since I said that, let me tell you who my wonderful actors were. Lola was played by Melissa Abbott.
Because, well, let me say this before you tell me who. I met the actresses, but hadn't read the book, hadn't seen the play. They were all, I was very excited to have them all actually on the show. I'm wearing my production t-shirt.
KGT Live Productions.
Production t-shirt that the ladies gave to me that day when they came in. But now that I know the ladies, I've met the ladies, and now I know the characters. It's different when they told me and you give me this brief synopsis. But as much as she gave you a small description of the ladies, it's so much more in depth. I mean, so that really is like a small description. That was a very on the surface if you had to write 2 sentences about the ladies, because the more you go, they're so layered. Every single lady is very layered as to the why they are doing what they're doing and why. So I say all that to say, I met all the ladies. Now I want to know who they were.
So Claudia was Janelle Hampton.
See, I know Janelle.
Yeah, you know Janelle. Yes. And Gertie was played by Alicia Hightower.
Okay.
Shauna was played by Mika Wright.
Okay.
And Miranda was played by 2 people. So Jatan McCrae played her in part 2. And Marquita, I can't think of Marquita's last name. Oh my God, she's going to kill me. Marquita.
Melissa, tell us in the comments if you will.
Yeah, Melissa, tell us in the Marquita played 1. So she's going to kill me. And then the men, the actors, the male actors, Jesse.
Who was the dad?
So it was Jesse Graham. He is a phenomenal actor too. And the other was John, who was played by Delmar Amos. And he played that role very well. I had some Marquita. What is Marquita's last name?
Melissa, tell us if you let me refresh the page.
Yes.
If you or Marquita, if you're watching, tell us your last name too.
She's gonna kill me. Yes. But some phenomenal actors and actresses. They were awesome. And I can't leave out my husband.
He was in it.
No, he wasn't in it. He helped direct and produce it. He's part of the KGT Live Productions. He helped with the music. There is a song, guys, in this play that you're going to love. That was written by Lainey Marissa and myself and Ronnie Tyson, who is no longer with us. But Ronnie did the production, the music, and it's
a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And it sums up the play, the book very well.
Yeah, it did.
Very well.
And it caught the audience off guard.
So this song was also performed in one
play.
And two. Not one, because it wouldn't have even happened.
It was performed in two.
Yeah.
But guess what? We're going to bring the play back.
One and two?
One and two is going to be combined together.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yes. So we're bringing it back, and 1 and 2 is going to be together.
So why I'm excited about that is because in my head, I didn't know which actress played whom. So in my head, what I thought they looked like, and I'm envisioning TV people that I'm like, oh, she's probably this. I see this person is this. But to see this all played out, it's one of those books you can see being a play.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Right. And a movie.
And a movie. Oh, it'd be an excellent movie.
Excellent movie. This will be an excellent movie.
Excellent movie.
Yeah.
And you can see where it could keep going as well.
Yes.
And I also, just like the people who saw Ladies Night Unmasked 1 were like, don't end it there.
Yes.
I felt the same way. I was like, okay,
yes,
I feel where could this go? But I can't guess where it go because you're always going to add a twist.
I'm gonna always add a twist, and I can see this being a series. This
it really could, especially with the 5 ladies being so different. It's almost interesting to see how they met up. Because did it say how they met? Not
well. They were friends for many, many, many years. Lola was new to the group because her husband is actually the friend to the other 4 ladies. So she met them through her husband.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, she's the youngest.
Well, she actually, I mean, she even there in one part. Do I give a spoiler? I won't tell it.
Yeah.
But
and she knows she's the youngest.
And,
she knows that she still has it all, her shape and her looks and all that great stuff. And she reminds them all the time.
Right. Because she reminds them of it. That's part of the thing that kind of makes you hate to love her. Because you go, oh, you little
Marquita Boone. Marquita Boone. Don't kill me. Yes.
Thank you, Marquita is happy now. Her last name has been said here.
Yes.
So I just really loved it. I really loved it. It was absolutely a page turner that you couldn't put down and you didn't want to end.
Right.
At the end, I'm flipping through and like, did I really read it all?
Yes.
Like, it ended. And that's another reason I think I kept putting it down because I didn't want it to end. Like, if you keep reading, it's going to end eventually. Right.
So which character would you say you're more like?
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. I'm definitely a mixture of them all. I'm not wanting things to go right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that part of Claudia that anticipating what I want this night to be like, and then not wanting it to go off the course of where I want it to be, and being very hard on myself. Yeah. I definitely have that portion. If I keep doing this, I'll say more about them. So I shouldn't probably, but I probably could pick something out of all of them as well.
Yeah.
And more that I like to have, like also saying, okay, I need a little bit of that in my life.
Yeah, right. And that's how I felt. I felt like I learned from each one of them.
So as you were writing them, all the characters, do they have a piece of you in them?
Each character has a piece of me. Most definitely. And I must say, each woman has her own strength. or she finds her strength. And I love that because that was also my journey, right? That's where the second book came from. So it's finding your strength, finding your voice. You know, I love that song by Beyonce, Listen. You know, when you think about that, sometimes you dummy down and you're not being heard, whether it's at your job or around your peers or whatever. But each woman finds her voice, right? And at the same time, each woman learns something about herself. And I think that journey for me helped me see the good, bad, and indifferent things I can enhance or change, or things that are good about myself so that I can embrace it. So each character, you want all of them to win, but you see probably where you failed in some friendships yourself. You know, as you the friendships begin to unfold, and you say, you know, I kind of missed this friend, or I missed that friend, and could I have been a better friend, right?
What could I have done, contributed more to the relationship to make it, to nourish it more?
Right.
Because definitely as life goes on, we get very wrapped up in our own lives.
Yes.
Or like one of the characters, we mentioned Gertie, who is a first lady. You can get wrapped up in taking care of so many other people that taking care of your friends is in the. I mean, she has a whole church,
Yes.
a congregation that she's balancing.
Yes.
Besides her friendship. So it's like,
Right.
I'm going to show up. Let me hurry up and get to this. That you want that time away, but at the same time, you have just so many responsibilities. So do you guys take the trips? Do you do the girls' trips? I still want to know. If you do it, let me hear where you go. We love to hear it, guys. If you do the boys' trips. Now, I know my brother, he does boys' trips. He does all. And I heard his wife, my brother was in town. They live in Maryland. And I heard his wife saying she was planning a trip. And I had never heard her in there. Maybe they've been married 20, going almost 20 years. I've never heard her talk about a trip as much as I hear him. He does.
Right.
He's very adamant about he also is a runner. And he does marathons all over the world, Germany. I mean, he goes. So besides the trips, he does things that, trips with the boys. He just does things that nourish his soul at the same time. But that was the first time I heard her talk about doing it. So
my husband is a musician, right? He has the Earth, Wind and Fire tribute band, which is Shining Star, and they are great. And he travels all the time with the band, and that's a good thing. You know, that's his passion. That's where, I mean, when he gets on stage, he becomes a totally different person, but he enjoys it, right? So you kind of want people to do things that make them happy. So in a marriage, we are a unit, but we're still two individuals. That person's not going to like everything you like. That person's not going to want to do everything you do, but you have to still respect who they are, right? So with that, me going with my girlfriends, I like to write. I'm a writer. You know, he supports me there.
How do you write?
I have characters that build up in my head. This is really interesting. And I can hear them talking to each other. And it may sit there. It'll sit there for a while. No, I do not have.
You have voices talking in your head, Karen.
All that stuff. No. But I can hear this story playing out. So I'll allow it to play out in my head first. And then I'll sit down at a computer and I just type it out. And the name and what they're doing, right? So my stories have never taken me longer than 4 or 5 hours to type out, because the story has already played out in my head, just like Ladies
And you
Night
remember
2.
it?
Yeah,
like what she said?
It's just like
and
the characters, and by the time I get it on paper, it's done. The characters have played out. They've gone to paper, and then I'm doing casting calls to take it to the stage. So this has just been something I've always had. Characters play out. Here's a story. You know, I'm working on a story now.
You are?
I'm working on another play. It's going to be announced soon. And then I'm working on another book series. And the executive assistant in this book series is the heroine. And she's going to save the world from corporate America. So
who just left corporate America recently? Who is
that?
Who is that?
Who is that? That would be me.
So would we say this new character is anywhere based on Karen Abbott Trimuel?
Yeah, she has it. It's going to be fiction, guys.
Wink, wink. I saw that wink.
It's gonna be fiction, guys. But yes, that's gonna be a series. It's gonna be great. I'm excited about that. I'm really, really excited about that. So it's a lot of great things happening. That character is playing out in my head, and she's bad, and it's just all this greatness. I think that for me, 2020 showed me that I was capable of doing so much more than I was doing, but I needed to be free to have the time to do it. Right.
So you left your corporate job to have time to do
corporate job to have time to be me and be unapologetic about it.
Fear, like, how does that feel to make that decision?
So I think the fear had been there for years, right? So I didn't move on it. And 2020 catapulted us all in a state of fear. Whether it was one thing or another, we had fear. And I think what we had to learn is I have to turn this fear over. I have to get on top of this fear if I'm going to get on to the other side of it. Well, when I did that with what was happening all around me, I said, oh, wow, that doesn't feel so bad. That was easy, right? So I kept to myself, only told my immediate family I was working on the books. I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I didn't want any opinions. I didn't want anybody to talk me out of it. So I had got the books ready. And check your assets really made me check my assets. And there was a question that I asked myself, are you happy? On the family front, with my husband, my children, and my grandchildren, my parents, with God, I am extremely happy. Those relationships are solid. But on the other side, my career choice and the people, I love the people I worked with. I no longer loved what I was doing because it was more about someone else than it was about me being happy. It was more about making sure they were happy and they had everything they needed. And I wasn't doing anything for myself. So I watched how 2020 showed us a lot about stability, different things. And I said, okay, how can I change this so that my passion becomes my provision?
I like that.
Right.
Your passion becomes your provision.
Yes. So I launched the books. I launched Ladies Night December 26th, day after Christmas, and it took off. And then check your assets. My last day with my employer was March 8th. I launched the book on March 8th. and the reason I did it on that day, I said, no looking back. That ended and this begins. So I haven't looked back. And I can now say, yes, I'm happy. I'm happy on both sides, right? It takes a lot of work, right? To be an entrepreneur, to live your passion and go for your dreams. But 2020 showed us that we can do a lot more with a lot less. I'm looking at all the shoes and the purses and the clothes I have, but I'm not utilizing any of it, right? So I'm going to do a lot more with a lot less, and I'm going to inspire and motivate people, right? And watch people grow. I've met so many entrepreneurs and business owners, and I'm proud of everybody. You give us a chance, Wanda B, and I'm grateful for that. And I think when we learn that we have to support each other, we really have to support each other.
I totally agree. Tangi says, save me, girlfriend. The book, get the book, check your assets. I'm sure you have written in the book how we all can be saved. Right. And I too know of a similar story with myself. I worked somewhere for 25 years, but I loved what I did, but I didn't like who I was doing it for. Yeah. And I wanted to do it for me, and not do it for someone else who didn't appreciate it. So I absolutely understand that story and that movement and wanting to do something for me that fulfilled me and not for others. And I had other people making millions of dollars off of what I did when I could do it for people that I care and love and would want to see succeed and make the money themselves. So I definitely understand that and know that, but it's not easy. And a lot of people, their fears become were you going to leave that? What about your this? What about your 401k? What are you going to do about vacation? Right. And then they have you worry like, what about it? And then you go, no, I'm going to just do it. And I have another best friend who left her corporate job to open up Journey to Wholeness Center, a holistic and wellness center. And the same thing where people, you're going to leave that 6-figure job and you're a single mom and you're going to do this, but to just go out on that faith in yourself. Because sometimes that's the main person you just have to believe in, right? That you have to put the faith. When you know yourself, you can believe in yourself and say, no, I can do this,
right? And I'm also inspired by my children. I have a son that is amazing. He just does what he wants to do. He's fearless, right? And you look at them, they're not afraid of anything.
I love that about children,
right? They're fearless. I have a daughter. She's so strong. She has two sons, and she's very strong, and she's matter of fact. Right, which shone light on when I was very indecisive, right? My indecisiveness, and I was like, man, she's matter of fact. She says what she means and means what she says, and so it's like we can look at our children too and be inspired by them just as they're inspired by us. I have another daughter. She's a go-getter. She's like, I want to do this for myself. I want to go back and get this, and I want to go back. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, okay, so instead of me just sitting back and putting my passions on the shelf, I'm going to do the same thing. And the same with my husband. He's a musician. He's out there, he's singing, and he's loving what he does. And the little grandkids, today's grandkids, they just got it going on.
Yes, they do.
So I'm inspired by that. So
I love that. You guys, you're tuned into He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. I'm here with Karen Abbott Trimuel, who is a poet, a playwright, an author. What are the other ones? You're a motivational speaker.
Yes.
You have so many hats that you wear. And so today we're talking about a few of them. I guess we're kind of they all overlap. So we're talking about all of them.
Yes. So that's what we do. We're writers, right? I also do productions, right? So live musical entertainment. We got a showcase coming up in October.
Tell me about that.
I've been waiting on Illinois to open up, but they're saying that they're going to open up in June. So I'm working on two things. So my husband Gammon is also a saxophonist. Yes. So we're going to do a showcase in October with him and singing, go back to some old school. I also want to do a ladies' night Unmasked concert where it's all female singers. Right.
Oh, so I can see that. And I can see the songs around the 5 ladies. I can feel that. That
sisterhood.
I can feel that.
Sisterhood, getting back out there. And, we had a lot of mothers that had to become teachers. They're ready to come out the house, right? Let their hair down and move and groove. So we're working on that. So we're working on a lot of great things. So I'm excited about the production piece and directing. I'm also working on a YouTube vlog where Cat Stories. We're going to have some very great interviews with women that have done some awesome things, women and men that have done some mighty things, because it's time to encourage and inspire one another. And they just announced that a lot of millennials are not going back to work. They're doing their own businesses. So let's talk about entrepreneurship, right? Let's give people hope.
I love that. And I love that you left March 8th and you took off running.
Yes.
Like there was no lull time of, and when it's your passion, you don't need a vacation from it a lot of times.
Exactly.
It just keeps flowing in your head. Tangi said, I have to say that Karen is a true inspiration to me. She's my motivation and I adore her. She's more than a friend. She pushes me and I just have to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tangi. She is awesome as well. She is an awesome woman. That's another person that has great skills. And, we feed off each other.
I think that's another thing that I noticed in the book is me noticing my friends.
Yes.
Besides noticing myself and all the characters, I too have a group of girlfriends, and we have done the ladies' nights for the last probably, I'd say 30 years of different times. And we may miss years. We used to do the Cincinnati Jazz Festival every year, and then different people. We're having children at different times, and that it's played out differently like that, but at the same time I go, oh, this is my Tammy. Yes, Tammy, this is my Kim. Portions of it. They're very successful. But what I love about my friends, as I noticed in the book, is how much you actually admire. You admire. every friend that I have in my life, there's something about them that I may think I don't possess.
Yeah.
But I see that in them that just inspires me to go after that.
Right.
And I definitely have those friends in my life. And I noticed that the ladies in the book are the same way, that some of them don't have the very thing that they look at their friend and aspire to be like.
Right. Right.
And I definitely feel that in the book and feel that in my life, and that the book kind of sparked that of how you have that camaraderie with the people in your life. Now, do men do that too? Men, if you're watching, let me know. Do men do that?
You know what else I liked about Ladies Night Unmasked is that the women, good friends will check you. Right? They will bring you back down to earth.
And you're willing to hear them.
Exactly.
You have without any, it's coming from a place of love, and you may get mad, a little hurt in the beginning, because some of them got a little like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right. And they had no problem saying how they felt. Right.
Right.
So it was good that they valued their friendships and enough to say you're wrong, or you need to pull it back, or whatever it was. And I like that, because I have friends that I've been friends with. Oh my God. I have a friend, Sharon. Sharon and I go way, way, way back. And she is just faithful. She's always there. And then I have friends people I've just became friends with. You got new friends. You got friends you've been friends with forever. And then you have friends that you just became friends with these people. And it's like you've been friends forever, right? They just fit.
Like like you say, you feel like you've known them forever. You just feel the matching. And I think what you said a second ago that made me think, oh gosh, am I losing it at the same time? I'm thinking ahead and thinking about what you said. It's gonna come to me. But I love that about I know what I was gonna say. That you sometimes don't have to talk to them every day. No. To pick up. And I think this is in the book as well with the ladies, is that they didn't always keep in touch in between their next ladies night. So they were looking forward to it, to see what they were going to say, what they were going to do. But that doesn't take away from the friendship.
Right. And another good part was they were open and honest in their discussion. They weren't trying to hide anything.
Well, some of them had a little bit of truth serum put in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some twists.
There's some twists. Yeah.
There's some twists.
Yeah. But it was pulled out of them.
That's true.
So as they went on, things began to unfold. So as discussions kept going, you're telling your story. And how many times do we think we're the only person going through something?
All the time. It seems that no one else could, because it seems so unique.
Yeah.
Let's say even Miranda, being adopted, and her and you think, oh, how many people go through that, or you can see where you think different portions of your life is not something, especially when all your friends around you appear to be having, so their lives are not better, but better.
Right.
You think it's better.
Right.
What's happening for them or to them and it almost seems something like you'd aspire to have. I want to be a Claudia, and you don't have to worry about children. All you have to do is worry. You're the high-powered attorney, and that just seems glamorous.
Right.
And you wouldn't think she really had any problems. I mean, it seems that her and her dad have the fabulous relationship. He pushed her, and it seemed like a good thing to have your father push you to be, and you actually succeed in what he has push you to be.
Exactly.
And that sounds all good.
Yeah. And another way that the two books actually link is sometimes we don't think about the things that affect us from the past and how they show up in our lives today and still affect us, right? So Claudia really didn't put the things together at first, that because of how I was as a child, that I'm not happy now. And that's affecting me and my decisions and choices now because of that.
And I believe that to be so in all of our lives. And honestly, if after reading the book, that actually played a part in almost every story in some way. Something in their past was one of the reasons why they were doing the things they were doing, or played a part. Right. Not totally the reasons why, but it sometimes could play a part in that. And so then with that, book 2 was written, Check Your Asses, but that means that it's not just for women. I mean, this is something
that's really for everyone. But for me with that book, it was I actually was very transparent in some of my own stories.
Really?
Yeah, because you have to be real. If you're going to share, you need to really share. And I talked about how when we came here, we didn't see flaws in ourselves, right? Now I call my flaws my flares. It's not a flaw, it's a flare. That's what God gave me. It's my flare. So you may not like what you see in my flare, but it's my flare. But because of other people's opinions, how we change the way we think of ourselves, right? And what I love about that book is I realize that, a lot of times we pray and we say that we want God to, I want my relationship right with God. I want God to know I love God. God knows that I love him. That's neither here nor there because I've proven that, right? But what God is concerned about for me now is how do you feel about yourself? The blessing I gave you is your life. But if you look at your life and you're not happy with your looks, if you're not happy with who you are, what are you really saying to me? Right. So that made me do a self-check and say, yeah, I can embrace myself. I can embrace my natural hair. I can embrace my looks. I can look at another woman and say, oh, she's beautiful. But I'm not taking away from me to say you're beautiful. And I'm not going to take away from you to say I'm beautiful.
And for many women, that takes work on themselves. And that's why this book is because we do have so many outside forces saying you should look this way. And this is what beauty is.
Yes.
And this is what men find attractive. So you should look this way. And then you feel a certain way about yourself. And to really be secure in yourself takes some work because we're constantly bombarded with these outside things that tell us how we should be and it affects how we feel about ourselves.
It does. And so that was a journey. That's a journey, right? So when we're growing up, they give us dowels. We were given dowels. You're going to make someone a good wife, right? Teach you how to clean and how to cook. Oh, you're going to be this. So our path was already planned for us, but we weren't allowed to embrace who we were, right? So my path was already set out for me. So when I went back and said, oh no, I like me. And yes, being a good wife is one part of who I am. It's not all of who I am, right? And I began to embrace myself. Then things really start working out for me. It's like you said, you hit the ground running because I know who I am, right? So because I know who I am, I know what I'm capable of doing. I know when I need help, right? I know when I'm off course, but I'm embracing me now. I'm not looking at somebody else and competing with them. I'm staying in my lane, figuring out what I need to do so that everything unfolds the way it should for me.
I love that. I love that you did that. And I also want to point out too, for some, it may mean that they need to take a whole different other course.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it happened for someone in the book. I won't say which character, but that you may find out in order to find that strength, it means getting out of this situation.
Yes. And a person had to get away. Right. So just think if they hadn't gotten away.
And so I think it could go either way where their strength is, but it's also finding out about yourself at the same time.
Exactly.
But when you do that, you see which direction you may need to go. And it gives you strength to do it.
Yes. And that's what I love about both. And you actually pointed out something that I never thought about, that they actually complement each other, these two books, because each woman had to check herself and find their value, right? Some people did not know their value. And once they found it, they became their authentic selves.
I don't think any of them really, at the deepest level.
I think someone did.
Really knew her.
I think
her value.
I think she was at the beginning of her journey.
Okay.
But she realized I'm better than this, and I'll rise from the ashes.
Right.
Okay. And then so she set out, but you got to begin somewhere, right? And I think that character, that's why it's going to be a sequel.
Ooh. I what I like too is that you could be at different places in the journey.
Yes.
Because for one lady, I think she was a little bit. She had been kind of taking that path,
Yes.
getting to know herself a little bit. So she's maybe here in the journey and just needed that extra
Yes.
push,
Yes.
that extra. And so and it's okay if we're all at different
places. We're not going to be at the same
of the journey.
Even when you look at the races, right? Everybody has a different start and end point. You may be here, I may be back here, and when we get it'd be even, right? Once you come around to the finish line, but we all start in sometimes in different spots, right? And the whole thing is that you get to the finish line, you know,
wherever that is for you, and it's maybe because after this first book, one lady wasn't at the finish line; she was just getting to the part of realizing that she needed to.
Yes, she was like, oh, and they were leaving her in leaps.
Right.
So yeah.
So I definitely see where this book can go. You're tuned in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. We're talking about Ladies Night Unmasked. We're talking about check your assets, know your value, and we're talking about should you go on vacations apart from your significant other? Do you think marriage makes it? I'm going to ask you this question, but just recap. We're talking about should significant others vacation apart, ladies' nights good, boys' trips. Are they good for relationships, bad for relationships? Or do you think that it's unhealthy to spend that kind of time alone? Can it create issues? So we're going to discuss that. And also, so as we talk about these trips, these ladies' nights, because when it was initially planned, they were getting all dressed up, and it sounded like some of the men weren't quite feeling like, where are you going again?
Right. Yeah.
Where you say you going? Yeah. Why you put on that dress? Yeah. Why you put on those shoes?
Well, you think about Miranda for a housewife. When do I get to dress up? Right. I'm always with the kids and running around, and she was really excited about dressing up, even if it's from a girlfriend's. I get to look good and remember her husband complimented her. Right. So how often does he compliment her when she has food on her clothes or, or hair all over her head because she's been with the kids all day? I'm not saying every housewife looks like that. I'm not saying that, but her everyday activity it does not require her to dress up.
Right. I mean, if you're no matter what, any of us maybe around the house, we don't go and put on heels and makeup to walk around the house. And especially during this time of what we just went through with the virus and people having to stay in the home and becoming teachers, even more so, have you been locked up? I mean, it really is the perfect timing for us to be planning those trips, and getting vaccinated and going out and enjoying life again. So I do think that I think they're not, for me, I think they're necessary. If you think they're not, I would love to hear it, because I'm open. We are open to hearing if you feel there are some negatives. I only see the pros, but if you're going to tell me some cons, I love to hear it, and if you've gone on a trip, where you've gone, where you think you could give some suggestions on going. It sounds like preparing to take you and your friends to Ladies Night Unmasked.
That's right.
That sounds like a trip. That sounds like something you would want to take your friends with.
Right. And if you haven't, why not? Why haven't you?
All right.
That would be a good question. If you haven't got with your girlfriends or your guy friends and you haven't taken a trip, why haven't you? That's a good question.
I would love to know that. Like, what stops you from doing it? And sometimes I hate to say it's an excuse, because it doesn't feel like an excuse in the moment. It feels like it's very valid that who's going to take care of the kids when I do this.
Right.
And I don't think everyone may have. These ladies all were, did anybody call a babysitter? I think they were all pretty blessed to have met people who, or the ones didn't have children.
Right.
That their husband stood in, because some may not have that, where someone watches the children for you.
Right. But maybe some people need to put those things in order.
Right.
Maybe you need to get with some girlfriends, some sisters, or someone, so you can make time for yourself. That's another thing, is check your assets. Are we making time for ourselves to enjoy ourselves? Right. I had someone say to me that, I'm here, but I'm not going to be happy. We're not going to be happy till we die and go to heaven, right? I'm like, nah, I didn't come here to be miserable and die and go to heaven and get happy. I want to be happy now. So if people are not, why? Or why do you feel you can't make time? It doesn't have to be a trip where you're going away and you have to stay for days, but are you not inviting people to your home or going to someone's house just to have girlfriend or man friend time?
I thought about that when I read the book, because my initial thought was when they were planning and all getting dressed that they were going out, especially because it kind of starts with talking about this club. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, they're going to this club. They're all getting dressed up. That's where they're going. And they were going to the friend's house. And so,
yeah, because the club days were over.
So it can't just be that. And how excited these ladies were to have this time. They were still dressing up, even though she made her take them shoes off at the door. You're not bringing your shoes in Claudia's house. She had those footies ready for you. That you can still look forward to that.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to look like a club setting.
No.
It doesn't have to look like a vacation and you buying trips and tickets and somebody's forced with planning, because I know some girls' trips can be overwhelming. I know my friend Kim was the one who did most of the planning for us and putting it together, which can be kind of stressful in itself to be the one. So it can be made smaller, bigger. Get your tickets to
exactly.
Get your ticket to the
play,
what you're doing with your
music,
the
showcase.
The showcase.
Yes.
So it can be those kind of things that you can look forward to, and it doesn't. It can be big or small, whatever you choose to make it. And but I do think that time is sometimes important to gas yourself up. I like to use the analogy of ourselves like cars. That cars need oil changes. They need maintenance to run correctly, and I think women and men need this too. We need to change the oil, gas up.
Yes, and we need that energy. We need that interaction, right? You have to have positive relationships, and you got to exchange energy. You have to have conversations and communication. That's key. I have friends that I can go over their houses, and it's just great to see them. Like you said, we may not talk every day, but we sit down and we have great conversations. And when you walk out of their home, you're feeling revived, right? So we have to interact. I think 2020 kind of got us away from each other, but we need that. A lot of people didn't do so well being by themselves.
A lot of depression.
Depression was on the rise. Suicide was on the rise. There was a lot of things happening because people didn't have those interactions, right? They stay away from family. I'm not staying away from my family. I need to be present with my husband. I need to be present in my children's lives. I need to be present in my grandchildren's lives. Now, if I leave here during the process, at least we had time together. And and I always say that when I leave here, I don't want people to stand up and say she always came to work, she was on time, she worked all that day, she was dependable. I want people to say she made me feel good about life. I want people to say she inspired me and motivated me. She wrote things that made me think about myself, visualize how I can enhance what I'm doing, or make me feel good about myself. So I think that too, you wonder, how can I be of value? How can I be a helper to our creator instead of hindering people? So I think at the end of the day, self-check is always good. And that comes with questions. We got to always ask ourselves questions, stop seeking everything external and start looking internal and ask yourself some tough questions. You'd be amazed at the answers.
I think one thing you brought up, which is so key, is you mentioned learning to love yourself, because I think it's very hard to sometimes give out this positive energy if you don't feel that way about yourself.
Exactly.
And feeling that way about yourself is key to being able to give it.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes more natural when you feel just as confident about yourself. And that's why the second book then is so important, because it will help you then know your value.
Right.
Because when you know that value, I owe it to myself to do this.
Yes.
But you have to feel worthy.
Right. And sometimes you have to be selfish. Everybody use the word selfish as a bad word. That's not always a bad word. Sometimes you have to take time for yourself to be selfish, because if you are the pitcher pouring into all the glasses and nothing's being poured back into you, you're going to find yourself empty. So you have to take the time to pour into yourself as well, so that you won't come up empty.
And unfortunately, with life, everybody else isn't always going to pour into you. I mean, as much as you, they're on their own path, doing their own thing.
Right.
We'll talk about Gertie and her. He was a pastor, and he was pouring out to the
Everybody.
congregation and to everybody.
And snoozing on her.
Snoozing on, right. When the time came to pour, he was all spent. He was poured out too.
Exactly.
And so you have to take that time for yourself, and maybe in doing that, it may have taught him. Then we'll have to see you in the next sequel. So
yeah, exactly. With him.
Maybe does he look and say, okay, well, maybe I'm doing a little bit of the same thing, a lot of pouring out and not filling myself back up. And that is so important. And I really want to mention the guys doing it as well, because I know they have just as much pressures of the world sometimes.
So we're going to write it from the male perspective next.
I know that's coming. They're probably talking in your head now.
They're there. Yes. John and Dad. They're there.
I see where Dad could go with that. Now, yeah. John, I don't know.
Oh, no. John, there's a reason that John does what he does, though, right?
Right.
There has to be a reason. Why is he like he is?
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Right? So this is going to be fun, because we didn't really delve into any of the mates of all, because the other one, Miranda, had a mate. I mean,
right. So you would like to hear their parts too, right?
Yes.
Right.
Get them going in there, Karen.
That's right. Get them going. And why did they choose them as their spouses?
Right. Well, why did they choose them?
Right.
Especially when they all had various paths, as we talk about. Okay, which one was it? Is it Sean? What's the one who's the one with the boy toys? I don't want to tell.
Oh, that's Shauna.
Shauna, like why
did he go the way he did?
Right.
What was behind that? You hear his side too.
Oh, I'm excited.
You're gonna hear his side.
I'm excited. I'm telling you guys, this was a page turner, and everything I've said wouldn't even tell you what's gonna happen. I have not even given you any spoiler alerts to this book, and that's what makes it so good. But I like the pairing of the two, because you see where that's needed. And as you ask yourself this one question, and the question you said you have on your desk, when you ask yourself that question, how do you get to the answer?
Yes.
It's like you've written a book that helps us get to that answer.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. And then Check Your Assets takes you on that journey, that personal journey. So I am coming out with a workbook designed just for you. So it's your story. You're asking yourself the questions, you're answering the questions, and this is your story getting you to your authentic self. So that will be released soon.
You're tuned in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. And Karen, I'm here with Karen Abbott Trimuel, and I want you to tell us, what can they do to get one of these books?
Guess what? We're going to do a giveaway.
Okay.
Right? So I have Ladies Night Unmasked. So the first two people that email me at Kat, K-A-T, at KGT Live, L-I-V-E, pro.com.
Say it again for me.
So it's Kat, K-A-T, at sign, KGT Live, pro.com. The first two emails that I receive with your information, I will be sending you either Ladies Night Unmasked or Check Your Assets and Know Your Value.
Do they have to say which one?
No. First person will get Ladies Night Unmasked, and the second person will get Check Your Assets.
Did you guys hear that? So let me see. If I can put this in the comments, the email address to help you guys out. Let me see. Can I do it as my laptop? If you've been tuning in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com Sundays at 2 p.m., you may know the issues my laptop and I have been having. I don't know if she needs to read the book and check her assets and know her value, because right now we're just having it out. me and my girl, she's not working well with me, and we're gonna have to work this out. I'm gonna have a heart to heart and be able to really tell her how I'm feeling about her, just like they did in that book, because she's not acting right now. Oh, and you were like, you want to talk about me?
She went black. She said, do not talk about me. I love it. I love it.
You don't need me. I'm off.
I love it.
Oh, which character are you?
Let's see.
You Lola.
Oh.
I'm calling you Lola from now
Oh.
on. So, you guys, we're talking about the book Ladies Night Unmasked. You can get your own copy.
Yes.
We are what Karen is going to do. A beautiful thing that she's offered is to the first two people. You email cat at the @ KGT. You can look at my shirt if you want to say KGTLivePro.com. Email her and say, what? What do I got to say? Anything?
Just email me and say,
and
just email me with your information so I can mail them to you, and I will respond to your email and let you know.
How sweet is that, guys? Get the book. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. You won't want to put it down. I had to force myself to put it down, and then I had to pick it up, and then I said, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it because I just want to know. And then it was over, and I was mad, and I was flipping like nothing more. Come on, tell me what happens next. So I'm excited to know there will be some more where I can find out what happens next, and then I can find out what happens with the guys in the story, because it makes you kind of curious. Like, how are they feeling about these ladies?
Well, let me tell you, I had a friend, a male friend from school that got Ladies Night Unmasked, and I got so many texts from him. Oh, Shauna is hilarious. He's like, oh, I would turn Shauna out. Gertie is correct. You know, it was really good. He was so into it. And that's why, again, I say, even though the book says Ladies Night Unmasked, it is for everyone.
It really is. It's a page turner. It's for everyone. You'll want to know what happens next. You'll picture the ladies in your life, or yourself even. I think it really... It has a couple male characters in there as well who have their own flavor and style and flair. I'm gonna give it flair.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call them flaws.
They got flares. They have flares too.
And so again, it's cat at KGTLivePro.com. So email Karen and say whatever you want to say. Tell her what you think, and then you'll get a book. That's simple.
That's simple. So easy.
So easy.
So easy.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about the books. I'm excited about having you here. So it sounds like you have some great things in the works.
Yes, I do. I told you about the musical showcase, the workbook, the stage play returning. Do
you have an idea of when the
as soon as they open up, they're not even allowing us to rent the theaters yet.
Oh, so you can't even say...
No, I can't even say this is my date. I can't even... Right. So, but do know that as soon as they open, I'll be the first one in line. And Barnes and Noble in Atlanta, is it Buckhead, Atlanta? They are carrying both books. Nice. And I will be there to do a book signing in around July 2nd. Barnes and Noble in Orland Square is also carrying the books. So if you're one of those people that just like to walk in a bookstore and get the book, you can. The books are wherever books are being sold. You can also
Amazon,
Barnes and Noble, everywhere. We have ebook, we have audio. So we made sure that it's available to all. You can also go to our website, which is www.kgtliveproductions.com, productions with an S, and you can purchase the books there. So it's a lot of great things. The musical showcase. Also, this is the first time I'm announcing this.
Oh,
yes, on your show.
And they like give
I will be running a campaign to do a virtual ladies' night. Wanda, I hope that you can join us. It's going to be a virtual ladies' night discussion.
I don't have to wear my mask at this
well, guess what? There will be a swag bag sent to your home with everything you're going to need to be part of this virtual discussion. So I will be running a campaign soon on my Facebook page. I'm Karen Abbott Trimuel, also at KGT Live Productions on Facebook. And we will be running that campaign. We're going to pick so many women. They're going to join us, and we're going to do a virtual ladies' night. We're going to talk about the book. We're going to have some fun, and there's going to be a question.
Oh, I am so there. Can you also put it in Media Chicks?
Yes, I would
Please.
definitely put it in Media Chicks. Definitely.
So if you're a lady in media, any form of media, whether you
Yes,
and
yes.
it's so many forms of media: author, poet, playwright, entrepreneur, producer. However you are out there, whatever you do, singer.
Yes.
Join Media Chicks. We're
Yes.
promoting and each other, and it's a place where we can hear about what you guys are doing, that you can keep us abreast on whether you're doing podcasts, whether you're doing plays, whether you're doing whatever you're doing. I have some friends that have a TV show coming out, and I saw a promo for it, and I go, she's a media chick. Okay, she's in a movie.
Hello.
We want to hear all about it. Some friends that open up at nail salon, beauty salon.
Yes.
Please join us, and please post it there too.
Yes,
for us, okay?
definitely. Also, let me not forget, we also own an asphalt paving company.
Do you know I saw that? I said,
yeah,
okay, you're over here. And I was like, paving.
Yeah.
How'd you get over there? Okay, tell me about that.
So it's GAMS, GAMM' for my
That's your
husband's name. Gammon,
name.
yes. Asphalt Services. And we're at GAMSAsphaltServices.com. That's our website for that. And we do great asphalt, commercial and residential.
Commercial and residential.
Yes. We've been in business 5 years.
I love
5
it.
years. Business is doing very well. Very well.
So, okay. The husband's a musician.
Yes.
He also has done the music for the play.
Yes.
And on the side, he also does play. And I love that how rounded this is. That so many passions and how your passions can go so many different directions.
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. So we're living our best world right now, our best lives right now. We are both happy. You know, he's doing him and I'm doing me and we're doing us.
I love
it's a wonderful thing.
Now, do you go on girls' trips?
Yeah, I went to Vegas. I told you.
You went to Vegas.
Did. I went to Vegas. And the book Ladies Night actually came from a question that we posed at a Ladies Night.
You actually did that question.
I actually did that question.
Night.
Yes. And we were all open and people shared. And then someone would say, hey, I've been through that. And the sisterhood that came out of the questions. And I think, we had little spirits, so you're really honest when you have little spirits. But people were so authentic in themselves and people actually embraced and was so caring for each other and sharing what they've done to get out of situations. You never know what someone is going through. And I believe someone posted recently on Facebook, pray for your friends because you don't know what they're going through because people are not going to tell you everything, right? So I would encourage, that was a great reminder for me. So now every night I, pray for my friends that all is going well, not just my family, but also my friends. And when you come together and that energy is shared and people begin to show that love, we don't see women supporting each other in the public, right? And I think we're starting to do that more now on the other side of 2020, right? We're starting to embrace each other a little more. And to see that is awesome. That's such a great feeling. Yes.
I think when you say it's a great feeling, when you see someone else winning, it makes you feel like you win too.
Yes. That's what you want them to win,
Right.
Yes. And that my thing now is too, I want to post other businesses doing things. I'm in competition with no one.
I love
but myself, right? So you want to lift people up, right? When you look in the sky, it's massive. That's how many opportunities there are out here. It's endless. It's enough for everyone.
And if you don't feel that, if you really feel like, well, there is a book. Tell them about Check Your Assets.
Check Your Assets. Know Your Value. A Woman's Guide to Becoming Her Authentic Self. And same for men. Just know that you're not going to get anywhere by yourself. Yeah. No one ever got anywhere by themselves. And if you look at people and they say I was an overnight success, that's not true. I've been writing plays for over 20 years, right? So if the book becomes a movie, know that there was 20 years work of me getting to that point, right?
It seems overnight. You see her here. And
right, exactly. It didn't happen overnight, no. And I can't have a successful play without actors and actresses, right? So I can't do it by myself. So you have to give kudos to those people that help you along the way.
Absolutely. I say here at Intellectual Radio, Earl Winfrey founded this great place, intellectualradio.com, but he really couldn't do it without himself, with all the different hosts and having over, probably there's been over 300 people or so, as we looked at the numbers once, who have graced hosting shows here. He couldn't have done it without the people who bring their content, their character, bring their stories, bring their topics to this platform to make it what it is.
Right.
And so many businesses are like that they're founded off of everybody's ideas and creativity to make it grow. And we continue to do that here. So I love that, how inspiring everything that you're saying is. It really is inspiring. If you want your own show, you can call 708-223-8953, because you may feel like inspired. You know your value and you want to talk about it.
Yes.
We have a place where you can come here and do it here.
Right.
708-223-8953. You can ask for me, Wanda B, and I'll hook you up with if you feel inspired to do that. I think you're making me feel like you can stand on top of the world.
We can.
We can.
We can.
With Karen Abbott Trimuel of so many different commas, of KGT Productions, of the playwright of Ladies Unmasked 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 coming up.
Yes,
the movie that's coming up, Ladies
Wife,
Unmasked.
Mother, Grandmother. Those I hope.
Yes.
I
forgot those titles.
Yes, those are honey. Those are my amazing titles. Yes,
I love it. You're a grandmother to how many?
I am a grandmother to 3.
3?
Yes, I have grandson Kyron. Kaysen is another grandson, and Malaya is my granddaughter.
I love it.
Oh my God.
I have my one little granddaughter, Cameron. She's a K too, and she was very special. I just go into my baby. I spoil them and send them home. Yes, I do. The best way to do it. That's the fun part.
Yes.
So
they keep me young.
Don't they though?
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely adds the youthfulness to your life. Me and my laptop, she's still a little Lola here.
She doesn't want to work right.
She does not want to work right.
She's a hater.
We're going to get you the book. She's going to read it. She's going to know her value. You know what? I'm going to treat you better too. Maybe she say, you don't know my value. I'm going to read it and help you out too. I'm sorry, Lola. She said I'm talking about her. So have you been on a vacation, guys? I want to know if you have done a ladies' night out. We want to hear about that. If you've done a boys' trip, where do you go? Where do you and the fellas go? I know my brother has gone with his best friend to Puerto Rico, because I've seen some pictures of that, and he's had fun. Do you guys do this? And if you don't think you should do it, we still want to hear from you. If you think that does not make sense that you all should be a joint at the hip, I'm adding that part. You may not think that, but you think that it's healthier to do these things together. I want to hear about that too. So let us know in the comments. And if you want to get one of the books, because Karen has been so gracious to us that He Said, She Said on Intellectual Radio to give out 2 of the books.
Yes.
All you have to do is email her. Nothing else.
That's it.
That's all you have to do.
Stand on your head.
You don't even have to do backflips. You don't have to do backflips. No. You don't have to stand on your head. You don't have to sing the song to the movie, to the show, to the play. You don't have to know all the lyrics. You don't have to name all the characters.
You don't have to buy a ticket.
You don't even have. But if you want to buy a ticket, buy a ticket. Yeah. but you don't have to.
I'm just telling you.
You don't.
Well, once you read the book, you'll want to see the play.
You will. Okay, wait. Let me give out how you can get the book, and then I want to talk about that part of it, because it made me want to see the play.
Yeah.
Kat, K-A-T, at kgtlivepro.com. Email Karen.
Yeah.
And you get the book. That's simple. That's simple to get the book. Okay, so I was reading this. I knew about the play before.
Yes.
And I was wondering which characters. As I said, I was wondering, okay, who played? Who was Janelle? Who was? So I'm thinking about this. So it made me want to see, just like you said, I could see this turned into a movie.
Yeah.
I felt like I could see this play.
Yeah.
Absolutely see the whole play. And it made me keep going back to some of the pictures you had posted in the past and trying to look at the picture and tell who was who.
Yes.
Just based on who you cast.
They were awesome.
So how did you cast them? Did you have
So I did a casting call. Marquita and Jatan, and let me think of who else.
Now, is your daughter? Did you say your daughter Melissa was in it?
Yes. Melissa has been in every play that I have ever
You've
done.
had more plays. Tell me about those two.
Oh my God. I have done plays since 2000. So the first play I did was Lord Hear Our Cries. Melissa was probably around 13. She was in that one too. Melissa has been in every play. Melissa and my son Brandon were both in that play. Jatan McCree was in that play. She's been in just about every play that I've written. Marquita came along later, but she's been in a lot of my plays as well. My husband has been in most of my plays.
He's in it as well.
Too. Yeah, he acts and sings and helps produce the music.
Okay, so you're a family to be reckoned with. The Trimuels are.
So I've done so many plays. So we've done It's Not What's on the Surface, From Broken Pieces to a Living Testimony, Ladies' Night Unmasked. It's several.
Which one is your favorite? Or do you have
Recession Proof.
Recession Proof. Let me write that.
Recession Proof is probably my favorite play.
Why?
Because it was really had 3 generations. It had the grandparents, it had the parents, and it had the children. So it told the story from different perspectives, which is interesting because we did Recession Proof years ago. And if you saw that play, it kind of ties in with today, 2020, and this pandemic, right? So it was the grandparents teaching them that the only thing that's recession proof is family, that you have to stick together, right? And we saw that this go around, that families had to stick together. You had people that lost their jobs, so I'm sure they were dependent on other family members or other people. So, and it was about the newer generation being a microwave generation, right? They want everything now. They don't want to wait on anything. They just got to get it, and it doesn't hold, it's not stable. And then you had the parents that were working so much to get ahead, or I want this and I want that, but they was losing sight of family and family time and the love and the relationships. And the music, we went old school with the music. The music tied it all together. I actually did that for Black History Month at BMO Harris Bank for their Black History Month program.
So will you bring it back again?
I will definitely bring it back. I will bring that back. And we're going to deal with a lot of different things.
Oh, so it'll be brought back and updated and revamped.
Updated. Yeah, revamped.
I love that you're so creative that you're constantly retooling this and moving the stories forward.
Yes, you have to. You have to get with the times. This is how I feel about the stories that I put out. People need to see themselves. We are visual. That's why entertainment is so big. That's why you'll listen to actors and actresses or whatever they say, right? Because you're a visual person, right? So what I decided to do is, how do I inspire people when they need to see it? And then you have people walk up to you and say, oh my God, it's like you were at my house and that was me, right? But I think the most touching testimony I received, and it was doing From Broken Pieces to a Living Testimony. At the end of that play, a woman walked up to me and said, I was going to commit suicide last night, but I saw your flyer and something told me I needed to be here. And she said, I'm ready to live. That's what inspires me. If I can help someone see the best in themselves and know that life is worth living, we just need to figure it out, right? That's why I do what I do. That's why I release Ladies' Night Unmasked, because I wanted to help somebody or make you laugh, right? But also give you a lesson at the same time. Check your assets and know your value. It's about helping somebody. There was one person said, I've been so motivated. My business is doing so much better because of your book, because it made me check myself and see that I'm so valuable. Then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm giving back, and I'm in a place, in a position to give back. So that's what makes me happy.
I love that. I love that you give back. I love that we had someone come in and say how you give back to her. Tangi mentioned how much you give back. I love that testament about yourself. I love the Miranda part of you.
Okay. Yes.
So
she has a heart.
She has a heart, definitely. So I love seeing that. And if you ask who's Miranda, we're going back to some of the characters in the book, Ladies' Night Unmasked. So you can get your own book if you email Kat Kat at kgtlivepro.com. Kat is K-A-T at kgtlivepro.com.
That's
You
right.
can get the book, or you can go to Amazon. If you miss being the first person to get the book, you can always go on there. Anywhere that you get books that you like to read, go there and get the book. I love that you can physically pick them up at Barnes
Yes.
and Noble. Sounds like in Atlanta. You're going to be going to Atlanta
Yes.
soon.
Yes.
And then you can go to Orland and physically pick it up if you want to
Yes.
have that experience, because I do like that experience. I was saying I do like to go get bookmarks, and I like the bookstore experience as well. So I understand that. But if you want to get the ebook and put it on your Kindle, you can do that too.
Yes. Yes.
So however you get, very, very smart to do it that way. So you guys
audiobooks.
But either book.
Yeah.
Can be.
Well, just check your assets. Well, either book is ebooks.
Oh, good.
But Check Your Assets is also an audiobook, and we're working on Ladies Night becoming an audiobook as well.
Really? She's busy, guys. She'll call you back after the show.
Yes.
She's on He Said on IntellectualRadio.com right now, since she can't answer the call. So you guys, I just love it. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for writing the book. I just love how you write. I mean, you're an awesome writer. Because like I said from the beginning, I thought it was going to go one way. I kept trying to guess and it would go a different way. I was like, okay, that's not right. Okay, she's going to be, okay, that's good. Then I had to go back and reread. I'm like, now, which one was she now? And then I was like, okay, it's her. Oh, okay, let me go back and read. What was it?
Yeah.
I mean, and then it flipped, and then I go, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, wasn't expecting that. She did what? I mean, so it really is a page turner, and it really makes you want to see this acted out. Like you said, it could be a movie. I can't wait to see it as a play. Very, very good. And you say it's coming back out.
Yes, it's coming back. Again. Yes, it's coming back. Yes, definitely.
So I'm excited.
We may be able to get you to do a cameo.
Oh, well, yeah, because like Wanda B be like the person that we're gonna talk about this. Put that character in your head. Have us start talking back and forth with somebody over there. And put it in writing.
Yeah, we'll have her do a cameo. That would be great.
Oh, y'all remember she said that? You got her email. You can email and tell her too.
That's right. That's right.
That sounds like so much fun. I am so excited to have you here, and I really want to thank you. I want to thank you for both. I'm excited to read, check it. I'm glad I finished Ladies Unmasked, because now I'll have an even better appreciation for your second book. I definitely see where it comes out, and I'm always for self-help.
Yes,
I always need some revising of the spirit, my own spirit, so I can go back out and do what we do. However you do it, and it can help anyone, man or woman. We like we said, because I really do want the guys to do these kind of things too.
Yes,
because I really want you to know what that question is. We kind of tapped around it a little bit today, but because it is a question that you can write down right out of the book and then start asking yourself this question and go right over to the other book and start working on it.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Yes, definitely, definitely.
I like that when the question of the Ladies' Night Unmasked was revealed, I'm like, oh, because that wasn't where I thought it was gonna go, but then I really see where I didn't ask myself that question because I was too busy trying to find out what they were gonna find out. I was too busy wrapped up in these ladies. That I didn't ask myself. So now I'm going to do a little bit of more homework and ask myself this question and move forward with it. So I'm so excited. So if you can leave our viewers and listeners, if he said, she said, with something, what would you like that to be, Karen?
Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. Start looking more internally than externally for your answers. You know you best, right? And you are your greatest supporter. And it's time for you to rise to the forefront and not be in the background of your own life. So just trust yourself, love yourself, and know that life is a blessing. Everything else is a bonus.
How can they reach you? You mentioned, but say again how they can get the book and how they can reach you. Maybe they're interested in being in the play coming up or in the movie.
That's true. Because there's going to be a movie, guys. You got to speak it. You got to put it out there. There is definitely that. I can see that. Can't you see that?
Yeah,
right? It's definitely. It has to be a movie. You can reach me if our website is www.kgtliveproductions.com. Productions with an S. And you can leave your information if you're an actor, actress, singer, whatever you do. If you're talented, let me know what your talents are. I do a lot of different things and would be happy to touch base with you. You can email me at Kat stands for Karen Abbott Trimuel, KAT at KGTLivePro.com. On Facebook, I'm Karen Abbott Trimuel. We also have a Facebook page, KGT Live Productions. On Twitter, I'm at Kat's Stories, KATZ Stories, and KGT Live.
Well, no excuse of how you can get a hold of Karen so many different ways. Do that. Please do that. And then you guys, if you're watching the rebroadcast, you can still answer the question.
Definitely.
When you do watch the show later this week, or if you're listening to the show, I want to know, should your significant other's vacation apart? Do you think ladies' trips are good? Do you think they're not a good idea? Boys' trips, good, bad?
Yeah.
We'd like to hear from you. You can always respond to that. We'll get back to you. Can still put in, because you don't know whether you'll be first, second, or third. So
True.
you can still email. You can email at Kat, that's KAT, at KGTLivePro.com. Kat at KGTLivePro.com. And be the first so you can get the book. So you can email there and get the book, whether you're watching the live show or you're doing it on the rebroadcast. You have the opportunity, because we don't know where that first person's going to come from.
Exactly.
So please do that. And thank you for tuning in. I really want you to get the book. I really think you'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
Such a fun read, that a page turner that if you're riding on the train, you're getting back out to going to work again. Now that people aren't working from home.
Yes.
You may need to have your reading, or if you're an ebook, I like to hold and feel the book and have my little notes and scribbling and thinking. So I like having my book. But however you like to do it, get the book. It's really good. And now I can't wait to dive into your second one. Check your assets, know your value.
That's right.
Okay, I'm excited about that as well. So please reach out. I'm going to have all this information, how you can contact Karen Abbott Trimuel in the show broadcast. So, and thank you, Karen, for being here.
Wanda B.
I can't wait to go to the play.
Yes.
I know. I wanted to go the first time, and it was the same weekend as something else, but I'm kind of glad I read the book first.
Yes. And don't forget about the virtual ladies night. Oh, definitely. I will be contacting you for that.
Okay. Now the virtual ladies night, guys, go to Media Chicks. You can go to Karen's Facebook page. You're going to be able to go to Media Chicks. You're going to be able to go to your website as well.
Yes. We're going to post that.
We're going to be posting that. And let's all show up for that. In fact, read the book first. So when you come,
you know what we're talking about.
We know what we're talking about. Get the book. But you can come, I think, if you haven't read the book, right?
Well, no.
Okay.
You have to read the book, because it's going to be a discussion for the readers that have read the book. So we can dive deep into these characters, kind of like what you wanted to do today. You have so many questions. I just have so many questions. So you have to read the book.
Oh, it's like the big virtual book club with swag bags too.
Swag bags.
Okay, he said Media Chicks. He said, she said,
yes.
Let's do this. Let's be a part of this virtual book club.
Yes.
For ladies, our ladies night Unmasked, we can do virtually. Our own version. We can sip wherever we are.
Yes.
And show up. Oh, fun. I'm so excited about this. So I love that component of it. So we can keep this going.
Yes.
And I can ask all the questions I want to ask. I don't want to give you any spoilers. So now I can ask that night. So I'm excited about that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Karen, for being here.
Thank you.
And guys, I want you to come back to the show. I want you to come back next week. I'm going to be here the same time, 2 p.m. Sunday, here on IntellectualRadio.com. 2 p.m. Intellectual Radio.
Oh, he said she